Hi, this is Greg Abston from Professional Medical Education Association and its Laser Training Institute. Today we're going to go over the hair removal device of Facer, the permanent razor. This video will go over the operation of the Facer unit, not its initial setup. The unit is plugged in, the foot pedal is connected, and the handpiece and the wrist strap are connected. The foot pedal is plugged into the back of the unit. It's marked in this location. And the skin contact device is plugged into the back in this location. We also have the skin contact device that the client wears. You slip this on their arm and it makes good contact with the skin so that when the unit itself is used on the skin, it knows that it's against the skin. It's a safety device so that you cannot fire it when you're not in contact with the skin. The foot pedal is one of the two triggers you must depress before firing the laser. So you'll put this on the floor and step on this with your foot. The other safety is the trigger switch on the unit itself. So when you begin to fire this unit, you'll put the device into its ready mode, then you will step on the foot pedal and then squeeze the finger trigger in order to apply it, and of course you're against the skin while this is happening. We turn the unit on with the key in the front to the right, let it wait for its short warm-up period and booting up. Not only do we have the key to turn the unit on and off, there is an emergency stop button. If for whatever reason you needed to shut the unit down quickly, you simply press that button. Don't turn the unit off ordinarily in that manner. You're going to turn it off through the control panel and key switch itself. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit closer. We're not going to go through all the options on this screen in this short video. They're in your user manual, so please read that. But just a quick look at some of these. We can go to the settings and you'll see a variety of things available. Let's go down to the second screen. You have more. You can turn things on or off or adjust them. Whenever you want to go backwards, you hit that return arrow. It takes you to the previous screen. You've got your choice of different types of treatments that will put default parameters in, but for each client you do have to select their skin type, the hair density, and hair thickness. If I look at this and I hit hairline, it comes up with different settings and importantly the cooling. Go back to the main screen, select something else right here, comes up, has the suggested energy, the amount of time. You can use these default options, just adjust them based on what you see, whether you're seeing something that indicates too much redness or a blister, of course, or if eventually it's not effective, you can take the settings up. You can see we have a variety of defaults for the hairline, eyebrows, beard line, mustache, the back of the neck, front of the neck, the nose, and the ears. This is what you originally would select. Now I'll go to my choice and I'll look at the beard line. I select that and it comes up with default settings when this happens. This shows you roughly on the graphic where you're going to be treating, but that's not going to change in size when you change these settings. Here we've got the coolant level set. It comes up in default in mid cooling. You can go colder or you can go less cold. Darker skin and higher hair density requires more cooling because it gets warmer. The default setting is the grid area is 15 centimeters squared. It presets the total amount of energy you're going to deliver. What happens here is that when you start firing the laser, this value is going to go down until it's empty and then you're done. You'll have to keep moving the device as you do that. It's set the frequency up at 5 times per second. You can go up or down on that. If you go down, it sometimes can be a little more comfortable for the patient, but it takes longer. Going up is quicker, but it can allow the heat to build up a little bit more. The fluence, your setting in joules per centimeter squared, is automatically set here at the default setting of 7 joules per centimeter squared. You do have a counter, and it will list the number of pulses that are to be delivered in this treatment over this line, the total line, and the number of seconds that is expected to take. Right now we haven't fired it, so the counter is set at 0. But watch what happens to this. If I take my frequency up and watch the time, so I did it 10 times a second, it dropped down to 15, 10 times a second drops to 15 seconds total. I go back to 5 times a second and it comes back up again. With the fluence setting, this is how intense each individual pulse is. If I change that a bit, so if I'm going to go up, notice that the number of pulses come down and the number of seconds then come down when I increase my intensity. So I'm going to bring it back down. And aside from effectiveness, one way to think of this is that the less the fluence in joules per centimeter squared, the more comfortable it is for the client. But on the other hand, it could be ineffective. So the higher it is, the more effective, but the more uncomfortable it can become without proper cooling. So now I'm back to my default settings. The unit is in the standby mode, which it should be at all times. And if I put that in ready, the unit will activate. I'll pick up the handpiece and see on the back a counter, and this is the temperature in degrees Celsius. You'll see it start to come down as the unit is cooling. You can also check that by touching the side of it with your finger, which you really should do periodically during a treatment to make sure that this stays cold. Right now I'm going to put this back on standby and put the handpiece back in its cradle. To decrease the cooling level so it's less cold or warmer, you simply press on the buttons to take it down, and you'll eventually see when it's in the ready mode that the temperature changes on the handpiece. If you wish to take it up to higher cooling levels, you must be in the standby mode, and then you can press the different levels to take it where you want. The number 6 level is the coldest, and you have to remember that if the skin is dark or the hair is very thick, it's going to get warmer, so those situations would take the highest cooling. Here I'll take it back down so that it is less cold. Before you begin a procedure, it is important that you use the client's safety goggles and put them in place before the treatment is started. It is recommended, but not required, that the user wear the safety glasses while they're performing the treatment.